We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, protection, divinity, and magic. The circle is cast, and so it is. Hello. My name is Chelb. My pronouns are they, them. And this is Phasecraft Collective, your weekly check-in with the tarot to get the vibes, to see what's possible, to get a read on the energy that is available to us for the week to come. And it's a heavy week. It's a heavy, heavy week for so many of us, which just means that this kind of energetic and spiritual and emotional check-in and maintenance is more important than ever. I'm recording this on Sunday morning after scrolling on TikTok all day yesterday until about 8:45 when I was like, I need to take a shower. We made it past the initial when we all thought it was going to go dark and it didn't. So I was like, cool, we have till midnight. Took a shower, came out, TikTok was freaking gone. So that's fun. It's weird. It's not fun. It's weird. I have some tea here, by the way, which I will be drinking periodically, which I'm sure is going to be an auditory nightmare. So I'm just going to try to do it away from the microphone. I also haven't brushed my hair. I just threw on the first t-shirt I put my hands on, and it's one that I wear all the time. I might have worn this last week. I don't know. That's how with it I am. Anyway, I don't feel like now is the right time to talk about all the fun and exciting things that I have to sell to you, but I do have them. So if you're interested in the upcoming events and exciting things like that, all the links are in the description as always, but let's just get right to the message for the week of January 20th. But first, let's take a breath together. If this is your first time here, we always begin by doing what's called casting a circle, calling the corners, setting sacred space to just breathe and come together and try to help ourselves be present for the next 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to invite you to do the same if it feels safe and good to do so. And just take a couple of breaths here. Feel your shoulders rising and falling. Your rib cage expanding and softening. And let yourself become aware of wherever you're making contact with the ground, whether it be your feet on the floor, your seat in a chair, maybe your back on a bed or couch. Wherever your body is anchored to the earth, however you are connected to gravity, feel that held space. Feel the support that is being offered to you. In your mind's eye, imagine a wide circle of salt being poured around you by an invisible hand from a crystal bottle. Sparkling, pure, white or maybe black salt, completely enclosing you in a space that is protected, absorbing all negativity and unwanted energy, cleansing the field of your energy so that all that remains is you. I'm going to call to the spirits and guardians of the elements here. And as I name them, imagine them erecting further protection around your circle of salt. Maybe you see a ring of fire Maybe you see the ground open up and fill with water. Maybe you see stones or flowers or trees rise up from the earth. Maybe you feel air whipping around you, creating a force field. Maybe you see and feel a combination of all of these or something else altogether, whatever comes to mind as the elements come into the space to hold and protect you. I call to the spirits and guardians of the north, of earth, of the deepest roots and the tallest trees, of the winter and that which sleeps beneath the snow, waiting and resting to awaken again, to the stardust that gave shape to our bodies and to this planet. Hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the east, of spring, of air, of breath, of thought and of change, of new ideas, of growth, of the ability to take charge of our own destiny. Hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the south, of fire, the life-giving sun, of the cauldron of creation, of destruction, of cleansing, of renewal, of power. Hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the west, of water, of the changing of the leaves, of the descent into what is below, the oceans, the rivers, the rain, our blood, our sweat, and our tears. Hail and welcome. We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, protection, divinity, and magic. The circle is cast, and so it is. You can take a couple more breaths here, and whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes. All right. So, we are looking at the week of January 20th. And if you're watching this or listening to this on January 20th, it's a dark day, but it is also a day of remembrance. Remembering someone who fought until their last breath for the people, for their people, for his people. I'm talking about Martin Luther King Jr., obviously, who was an enemy of the state, who at the time of his death was one of the most hated men in the country. And yet his legacy is one of hope. And though his fight continues and our fight continues, what I was talking about last week with looking to those who have endured in the past and their wisdom, I think today would be an incredible day to look into some of his less known writings and ideas. To look into the ideas and contributions of his colleagues and other voices of his movement. And see how you find, I'm gonna cry. There's the cards coming out are very much, see how you find that courage within you to continue in the new form that we find ourselves continuing today. The deck is talkative. We've got a lot of cards, so I'm going to see if there's one more. Because the last one that fell out is the Five of Pentacles, which feels very right of the moment. Okay, that's 3. That's so many. Okay. Okay. So. We have the Four of Swords, the Three of Wands, the Three of Pentacles. Right now, it's okay to pause, to take the time to reflect and to study. I know I've said this before. Four of Swords is rest, but it is often a productive rest. It is not like a giving up. It is a reprieve. It is taking the time to collect the knowledge and the mental clarity that you need to move forward with clear intentions and more power. So this week, what we are up against is not going to rest, but we must take time to sit with what needs to be done for ourselves. We must carve out times for ourselves to be silent, to be present to our bodies and to our minds. And this is a great week to take up meditation. This is a great week to start that practice. Especially, we lost David Lynch last week. January 20th is his birthday. Transcendental meditation. He's got a whole foundation dedicated to it. And if you struggle with being present to your mind, with sitting in silence with your mind, honing that is going to be essential for your spirit moving forward. So start taking those steps now so that your mind can be a place you can retreat to recharge, rather than another place that feels difficult to be. Your body and your mind should be the safest places for you. Obviously, there are lots of caveats to that. Disability, chronic illness, our bodies are often not the safest place for us to be. Same with our minds. And we can do whatever we can. If your whole mind can't be safe for you, can you carve out spaces? Can you carve out specific areas where you can retreat to when you need to regroup? So this week, as you are transcendentally meditating in memory of David Lynch, when you come out of that internal space, Three of Wands, Three of Pentacles, the way forward will seem so much clearer and so much more possible when you move through the thoughts of doom and dread and find the ones of hope. And Three of Coins, find the people who want to work with you. Community is such a buzzword right now, and for good reason. we need each other now more than ever, but not just for support, for inspiration. It's not necessarily about finding people who want to do the exact same thing, who have the exact same skills and knowledge as you, but who have similar end goals and who have the skills and knowledge to complement what you can bring to the table. And maybe you're not necessarily working together, but you're working around each other. You're working in proximity to each other. So that you can start your day and say, hey, here's what I'm up to today. And maybe that leads to an idea exchange that fuels you even more. But now is not the time to be solitary. The journey that you're on is both your own and it is collective. We are all embarking on a journey together right now, whether we know it or not. And we will need that support and that inspiration and the knowledge of others to help us continue, to help keep us feeling the momentum. If we try to go it alone, we will not last long. And that's just the first 3 cards. So we're doing great. We're in for a ride. From there, I mean, overall, all of these cards are very promising. We have the 5 of Pentacles and the Devil. I think the Devil is representative of someone specific, and that's fine. But from here, we have such okay, so then we have Judgment, right? And Judgment can be a really difficult card for some folks. But this is a card of collective awakening, of collective liberation. All that working together, taking the time for our minds, taking the time to be present so that we can move forward is just going to further show us all the things that have been hidden from us or that we have not wanted to face. In 78 Acts of Liberation by Lane Smith, they tie Judgment to the BDS movement, the Boycott, Divest, and Sanction movement. And they describe it as like an act of protest that can be a little subversive and that pretty much everyone can participate in, even though it started a little bit more direct and targeted. So take this as inspiration to look at these small ways you can find resistance. The ways in every single day of your life that might not be super forward, but that allow you to feel like you are contributing, that you are doing something. I mean, because you are. Simply existing is doing something. So look for the opportunities to not just chip away at the systems that would suppress and oppress you, but bring others along for the ride. The internet is becoming a very scary place, a very not so safe place, and it hasn't been for a long time for very many of us. But sharing what you do in whatever ways you can, in whatever ways are safe and accessible, can, again, help encourage others to come along with you. We have the 10 of Coins, the Knight of Swords, and the Page of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. So these all kind of came out together when I was talking about the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. And the 10 of Coins is legacy. And then we have all these cards, the Page of Wands, the Knight of Swords, the Ace of Swords, of this exploration and forward momentum and speaking the truth. I pulled the Knight of Swords for myself this morning, actually. And in the tarot deck I'm using for my personal readings, whenever I'm doing my personal readings, I like to look into the guidebook of whatever deck I'm using to see what the artist, what the creator had in mind when they made the card. And for the Knight of Swords, they say essentially along the lines of, now is the time when your voice can be heard clearly. And how can you assert your thoughts and your boundaries without turning to harsh words, which is huge. It also says things about if there's a cause you care about, now's the time to shout it from the rooftops and you will likely be heard. Keeping in mind where your goals and your voice and your persuasion ends and someone else's autonomy begins, which I think will be this is, I'm speaking to the Elemental Power Tarot by Melinda Lee Holm, by the way. I want to give credit to where that is coming from. I think that's extremely important for us to think about, especially in a lot of conversations right now about consciousness, class consciousness, and how right now we need to think about being stronger together, which I've already kind of talked about with the Three of Coins. But yeah, being able to speak your truth and your boundaries while operating in a way that, again, brings people together rather than separates them. And with the Ace of Swords, your ideas are likely very clear right now, whether they in your emotions, whether they be difficult or exciting or, whatever they are. Let that clarity lead you to curiosity. The Page of Wands is an exploration of our passion, an exploration of how we can shift and change and move forward and be curious instead of confrontational. Ask questions. Share the knowledge that you do have. Lean into warmth rather than coldness. People gather around a fire. They retreat from the cold. So, again, let your communication be clear, but keep it as warm and inviting as you can to, again, bring us together rather than tear us apart. So, the Empress, the King of Wands, the Devil, the Four of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles. I think having the Empress and the King of Wands here with the Devil. We all know I love the Devil. In this instance, with the Devil framed by the King of Wands and the Empress. Sorry, I also just messed my microphone up. I'm getting an image of binding. The Knight of Wands and the Empress are both such, warm energies. They're both this essence of creation and care. And again, like warmth. This is tending your garden, the garden of your mind, the garden of your life, knowing when to prune, when to cut things back, knowing when to start a controlled burn in order to maintain the health of your life around you. Both of these energies, again, have such connection to care, and with the King of Wands, especially curiosity. Again, a bringing together rather than a separating. Both of these cards are strong and aware of who they are and what they have to offer, and also welcoming to those who need a little nourishment and encouragement. Yes, pursue your passions. Be passionate about the things that you're up to, that you're creating, that you're doing. And be open. Being open to different ideas, not in the way that is like bigots don't have a place in inclusive spaces because that makes them not inclusive, and separation and othering is what creates those ideas. Start from humanity and curiosity and see where that gets you. Start from care and leadership and see where that gets you. Because when we keep our focus on growth, because the King of Wands is fire, the Empress is fertility, of not just fertility of like mind, spirit, creation, whatever. When we focus on growth, the insidious tendrils of division, of pain, of struggle cannot take root. The devil, pleasure, pain, taboo. Also anything that can be addictive, like anger, like debate, like the need to be right. Who has power over you? And how are you giving your power away? If you simply sit back and let things be done around and to you, you give your power away. If you instead choose to create, to connect, to foster that growth, your power is yours. And then, Four of Wands, Four of Pentacles. The ground you walk, both physically and creatively, is much more stable. Making sure that you have what you need and then being able to share it so that everyone around you has what they need as well. Being careful of turning too far inward. Being careful of focusing too much on the self. And remembering, again, that we need each other. Letting focuses on stability be, yes, about physical resource, but then allowing that to be the basis for expression and passion and creativity so that it has longevity, so that you can fight for what you want longer. Five of Coins. Literally, I was talking about the Five of Coins and my phone storage ran out, so the video cut off. Shit feels dire right now. And it is temporary. It is temporary as long as we choose to turn to the people and the structures that are there to help us. Remember, not all systems are bad. Not all institutions are bad. Many of them are there to help us get our own sense of resource and power and hold on to it. When things feel bad, when things feel dire and like the struggle is never ending, where can you turn to just to get shelter for the night so that you can regroup and try again tomorrow? Look at this Five of Pentacles as the path all the way back to the beginning of our reading to the Four of Swords. When things start to feel like you cannot go on any longer, don't. Take a break, retreat to that safe space of your mind, and then see where you can go from there. This reading was a circle. I love that for us. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. The World. In every ending, there is a beginning. And the transition from one to the other is where creation is possible. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay. Let's close our space. So, I'm going to close my eyes again and once again invite you to do the same. Take a couple of breaths and reimagine that circle of salt around you. Reimagine that protective circle of the elements. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale through your mouth. And release your circle, scattering salt, dissipating air, extinguishing fire, sending water, stones, plants sinking back into the earth. Opening the circle and releasing the energy. I release the spirits and guardians of the west, the south, the east, and the north, sending you back to your place in the natural order with praise and with gratitude. I send the energy of all those watching and listening back to them whole, complete, and intact. I take my energy back to myself whole, complete, and intact. May we remain friends, though our energies are no longer crossed, corded, or tangled at all, starting now. Take a breath, feel your energy settle into all yours. The circle is open, and so it is. Wonderful. Okay, my friends. Yeah, I'm here. I'm in the comments. I'm in my email. You can send me a DM on Instagram, and I might see it. But yeah, we're in this together. Take care of yourselves, but take care of each other too. All right. I'll see you next week.